Welcome to Medicine Woman Tarot. This is going to be a future event reading. Please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Father God, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, help me to give a clear and accurate reading for this future events. I want to apologize in advance for any background noise you may hear due to the dog snoring. All right, I screened the pink gem for you today, and what showed up was probably not the best things, but for the future events, what first showed up was a man kneeling like he was mourning, and the man, it was like the body of the man kneeling, but his upper body was that of a wolf, and his tongue was like kind of hanging out like he was like dying, but it was almost, I guess you would say, like a werewolf. And then it was a full wolf, but still slunched and dying. And then the opposite facing direction of him was a ram. So with that showing, oh, and then what showed up was the outline of a man, of a Roman soldier that's been coming out a lot lately, and he was holding in his right hand an arrow and a bow. So that symbolizes war. And the wolf itself in this context is representing a slanderer, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is like people trying to prosecute you, especially with there being emphasis on the tongue hanging out of the mouth. So this is someone that has slandered you and has this is like representing that negative energy of you know people, like forces against you. And with it being a ram in the opposite direction, that represents strength, that represents power. So I take that as you're going to be overcoming your enemies, you're going to be overcoming the demonic prosecutors, the ones that basically try to torture your soul. You are going to overcome them, and there is a war and strife with that Roman soldier. And they have your enemies have the, what's the word for it, the arrow on the bow trying to shoot you, but you are going to be divinely protected, because with that ram being there, it symbolizes lots of strength and the weakness of the werewolf. Your enemies are going to eventually meet their demise. Now, the first card to come out for the future events was the Three of Feathers. So, rebellion against David. So, with rebellion against David, it says the king was shaken. He went up to the room over the gateway and wept. And as he wept, he said, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son, my son, if only I had died instead of you." And then he repeats again his son and his son's name. So with that showing up, you could be in the state of mourning, you could feel sad, you could possibly be wanting to trade places with someone that you love that has passed on. And this is representing that agony. And the, like I said, the parts that are unfortunate that showed up in the pink gem being the having to deal with the werewolf, and having to deal with the people trying to make war against you. That's the downside of it, but you have to look at the upside of you prevailing over this with the ram, and things are going to get better. Even though right now you could be in this terrible state of mourning, and believe me, I know it's a living hell to be in that type of energy, but know that God works everything according to his divine purpose. Because if you look here, he's mourning for his son that's passed, but then you got the dove, so it's representing everything goes according to God, his divine plan. Now, with the Three of Feathers being here, it says, let me check this, because like I said, they have different definitions with the biblical tarot. So this is the Three of Feathers, and with the Three of Feathers being there, that represents this, this energy of just a lot of mourning and sadness. And it also represents the feeling of betrayal, emotional pain and suffering, heartache and sorrow, intense grief and distress, profound sorrow, and a sense of loss. So you're dealing with lots of sadness. You could have been backstabbed by, people that were closest to you. This could represent friends, family, people that, meant a lot to you, and you could be mourning like the loss of what they have, basically, betraying you and treating you in such a demonic way. You could be mourning that, mourning the arrows that they shoot at you. And it could also represent a physical loss of someone that you care deeply about, is what this is showing. Now, the Bible verse to come out is, "May the God of hope fill you with joy and peace as you trust in him." So keep trying to, follow Jesus and putting your trust in him, so that he could fill you with joy. Always look to, God for, validation, especially if you're going through a time right now where you're in sorrow and you're mourning over the loss of someone. Go to God and Jesus, the Virgin Mary, to find that peace, because you might not find it among others, especially with what showed up with that person, with the arrow. There's so much war, there's war and strife going after you. You might not have anyone to console you, so always go to God, because he will be the one to help you get through that strife. Because if you have people that are surrounding you that are possessed by, demonic energies and are just trying to attack you, it's letting you know to go to God. And you have the card to come out of the Orica. It says the Akistic Library is open, so this is representing the divine knowledge of God being given to you. And the Sacred Beetle armor says you have a mighty shield, so you are divinely protected during this time. You also have the card of the Mermaid of Immersion, complete commitment. So be completely committed to God and know that God is completely committed to you and that he is divinely protecting you. Now the next card out you have is the Brother Raccoon, a safe place for you to go. And this is representing to go to God, because he's always going to be a safe place for you to go to and have that meditation, especially when you have, these demonic energies that are, trying to attack you. Always go to God and know that he is divinely protecting you and that you will eventually come out of this negative energy. All right, if this resonates with you, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. As always, it's greatly appreciated.